So there's a movie from a few years ago now called My Big Fat Greek Wedding. I wonder if you've seen it. I thought it was hilarious because it showed this amazingly large, crazy enmeshed Greek family and how impactful this young lady's family was on every aspect of her life. It's really funny for me as a psychologist especially because I know that our family of origin, the family we grew up in, is the most powerful system that we'll ever be a part of. The family that you grew up is more influential in your life than your college roommate, than your current spouse. It's more influential than the people you work with, your own children. It truly shapes who you are as an adult. It's very intuitive as to why, right? Think about it. We grow up in these families. When your brain is developing, you're just this little kid, you're learning lessons about how you connect with people. You're also learning, what it feels like to be criticized and how to avoid it. And you're learning what's affirmed in you and how good it feels to get affirmation. And many times people take those lessons that they learn at 4 and 6 and 10 and 15 years old, and they live those lessons out, those strategies out at 40 and 50 and 60 and 70 years old. So it's important for us to step back a little bit, look at our families of origin to see how our past wants to define our future. So towards that end, let me give you some questions that you can ask yourself about how you function now. Then we're going to take your answer to those questions and look at what kind of families tend to produce these issues in an individual's life. You ready? So, first question. Do you struggle to function independently? Do you struggle to kind of just do your own thing without the affirmation of other people? If you answer yes to that question, then you're probably involved in a family of origin that really discouraged you from forming your own identity, even when you're a little kid. Your parents were probably pretty enmeshed, over-invested. They were the parents that were always there, kind of the helicopter parents. And I know that's out of love, but the truth is that creates in a child a belief that somehow they don't have the competency on their own to handle the situations that they're dealing with minute by minute, moment by moment. Do you struggle to feel safe and secure in your marriage? That's our next question. If you were abandoned physically or emotionally by your parents, this probably left you feeling pretty anxious and pretty sensitive to rejection. Those situations in childhood will make a person in a marriage struggle to feel like your spouse is gonna stick around. I work with people all the time in the clinical office who really struggle to believe that my spouse is in it for the long haul. And the reason that they have that belief is because when they were younger, at some point, in some way, they felt abandoned. They felt like either emotionally or physically, people just weren't there. Next question. Do you struggle to connect emotionally with your spouse? If not, you probably grew up in an environment that lacked warmth and affection. People that grow up in families that aren't very warm, people aren't giving a lot of hugs, they aren't, saying affirming words, those people tend to really struggle with emotional connection. Now, what do you do in your current marriage if that's your situation? Probably you act pretty aloof. There's probably moments where you're detached. You're probably controlling a lot about what your spouse can see and hear and feel from you. And that is all designed to just make sure that you do not put yourself in a vulnerable position with your spouse, all based on stuff that happened real early on. Next question, do you struggle to value yourself? If so, you probably remember being made to feel that you just didn't quite measure up by lots of people in your family of origin. And many times that will include constant criticism. People that are constantly criticized ultimately struggle to understand, okay, how do I begin to feel a sense of value myself? Because what I got from outside many times was anything but affirmation.